Asia's biggest agro exhibition, Maha, is back. Bring your family to discover the agriculture, horticulture, and agritourism with exciting attractions and live performances by your favorite artists. Maha 2026, 28th August to 6 September at My Amsterdam.
At the PKR Congress in Malacca yesterday, calls of reformasi rang out as party leaders confronted electoral setbacks, internal divisions, and the need to rebuild public support. Meanwhile, an UMNO leader has called on Anwar to name those that had opposed funds for PN states. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. Did some UMNO leaders object to funds for PN-led states? This is the issue that Umno Youth Chief Akmal Saleh has pushed back on following Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's remarks during the PKR National Congress in Malacca yesterday. Taking to Facebook, Akmal told Anwar that the power to make decisions on allocations rests with the Prime Minister. He added that if the Prime Minister wants the allocations to be distributed, he just needs to say the words. With this, he called on Anwar to reveal who the supposed UMNO leaders were who objected to allocations for PN states. So, what did Anwar say about the allocations? Let's take a look.
Dan yang sebenarnya rakan-rakan saya di Kedah, di Kelantan, di Terengganu, rakan dalam parti, dan banyak tegur saya. Banyak rakan-rakan saya dalam UMNO tegur. Dia kata, ini dasar yang salah. Mengapa bantu? Walaupun dia nampak di peringkat negeri bekerjasama dengan mereka, tapi mereka tidak setuju saya lulus peruntukan untuk Kelantan, Terengganu dan sebagainya. Tapi saya jawab, ini jawapan saya. Saudara, saya ni pikul amanah. Orang miskin, saya janji nak bantu. Kalau masalah tiap tahun, selama puluhan tahun, dia terkesan dengan banjir, saya tak selesa jadi Perdana Menteri dan biar negeri dia musnah harta benda kampung-kampung miskin kena banjir. Jadi saudara pilih sosok bernama Anwar yang buat keputusan, do the right thing. And the right thing is to laksanakan keadilan bagi semua.
Meanwhile, DAP National Chairperson Gobind said the party's decision to remain in government must now be followed by action and delivery of reforms. In a statement, Gobind said the message from DAP delegates is clear. Staying in government means delivering on core agendas, including institutional and economic reforms. He added that there must be clear and firm timelines for key institutional reforms. This includes speeding up the bill to separate the roles of the Attorney General and the Public Prosecutor, limiting the Prime Minister's tenure to 2 terms, and pushing through long overdue amendments to SOSMA and the Peaceful Assembly Act. Gobind pointed out that the groundwork is already in place, with some bills already prepared and other proposed amendments having been under discussion for months. He said these reforms must now be finalized and tabled without further delay. He also cited the government's decision to hold a special parliamentary sitting on the Royal Commission of Inquiry reports into Tabung Haji, saying that the government had acted with speed. He said the same approach should be taken for these crucial reform bills, or additional Dewan Rakyat sitting days should be added specifically dedicated to them. Gobind added that the government should work towards getting these bills passed before the end of this year. Perikatan Nasional politicians have dubbed the DAP Congress on Sunday as political theatre after delegates voted for the party to stay in government. Wawasan Negara Vice President Wan Saiful Wanjan said the outcome of the vote proves his earlier claim that the entire process was nothing more than political theatre. He said there was no need for 14 delegates to debate the motion, arguing that the result could have been predicted from the start. According to Wan Saiful, DAP is afraid of losing its position in government. Wan Saiful added that the public should not have to endure what he described as another political performance by Pakatan Harapan. Looking ahead to the 16th general election, he said let the people decide DAP's fate. Earlier, PAS Information Chief Ahmad Fadli Shari had also predicted that DAP would not leave the government. In a post on Facebook, he said it is all just political theatre and the people will be the ones to remove them. Yesterday, DAP delegates had voted for the party to remain in the government until the end of the parliamentary term. Out of 2,099 valid ballot papers from the anonymous voting process, 1,857 delegates voted in favor of the motion tabled by DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke. Another 242 delegates voted against the motion, while 7 ballot papers were considered spoils votes. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us. PKR wrapped up its National Congress yesterday, and the party is now facing a bigger question: how to rebuild its political standing before the next state polls and GE16. The party has endured several difficulties, with poor electoral performances in Sabah, Johor and Negeri Sembilan, as well as the departure of several prominent leaders. While many leaders, including Party President Anwar Ibrahim, remained optimistic, their speeches indicated that the Prime Minister and the party needed to make changes fast if they did not want to keep losing at the polls. In his speech, Anwar said PKR lost in the Negeri Sembilan polls despite increasing allocations for the state. He attributed this to the party's failure to communicate effectively, as well as grasp grassroots struggles. PKR members and leaders widely agreed that it needed to work on its communication strategy, perceiving successful policies as having failed to reach voters. Its information chief Fahmi Fadzil took responsibility for this and bowed low to the crowd during his speech that morning. Meanwhile, Anwar also made several key policy announcements that appear to be aimed at bolstering support for the party. This included announcing that the government will finally fulfill a Pakatan Harapan campaign promise to abolish the University and University Colleges Act. He also announced an additional 1 million ringgit allocation for each parliament constituency, saying this would go directly to the people. With the Malacca polls expected to be called soon, PKR now has to turn its calls for unity and reform into renewed public support and prove it can recover from its recent electoral setbacks. Seat negotiations for the Malacca state election have yet to officially begin, but PAS is already signaling that Perikatan Nasional may not insist on an equal split with BN, which is looking to defend 21 out of 28 seats in Malacca. Previously, an analysis by Malaysia Kini and political scientists suggested that PN and BN have comparable strength in the state based on GE15 results, and as such should have a fair share of seats. However, PAS Vice President Idris Ahmad appears to be taking a different approach. He said they don't want to demand seats when it doesn't match their strengths, and this aspect should be taken into account by PAS. He told Berita Harian that PN will likely contest only 5 or 6 seats. Idris also said that voting patterns at the state level can differ from parliamentary elections. He added that youth voters remain especially difficult to predict. His comments differ from those of Wawasan Negara Information Chief Wan Ahmad Faisal Wan Ahmad Kamal. Wan Faisal told Malaysia Kini that seat distribution between BN and PN should be as fair as possible, taking into account the support for PN during GE15. However, he said he would leave the matter to the coalition's leadership to decide. The Malacca polls are expected to be held soon, although the state legislature is only due to dissolve in December. Putra President Ibrahim Ali has hit out at the PAS-led Perikatan Nasional. He accused the coalition of hypocrisy and political betrayal, saying it had slaughtered an old friend to court an old divorcee. According to his analogy, the Kawan Lama refers to Bersatu, while the Janda Tua is Umno. He also pointed out that the electoral defeat of DAP would not guarantee the safety of Malays and Muslims. In a statement, he said this is because history does not lie, and the Malays and Islam have been harmed by hypocritical Malay and Muslim leaders themselves. Responding to PAS Information Chief Ahmad Fadli Shari's claim that voters would reject DAP, Ibrahim said PN should first clean up its own backyard. He pointed out that it has been less than 3 months since PAS took the lead of PN, yet the coalition is already in chaos. Ibrahim also questioned whether it is certain that BN will not work with PKR in GE16. Without elaborating, he said he believes the Johor and Negeri Sembilan state elections are part of a strategy by PKR President Anwar Ibrahim and UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Ibrahim also questioned whether PN could actually defeat Pakatan Harapan, including DAP, as well as BN in GE16, saying it was too early to assume that the opposition coalition would take Putrajaya. According to him, voters are already beginning to question the coalition after witnessing the infighting between PAS and Bersatu, among other things. He added that people want to see results, not just rhetoric, and question whether the 4 states under PAS-led governments have developed, whether the cause of Islam has progressed, and whether Malays are no longer poor in those states. And that is all for me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.